qu'il y a encore des partisans des Canadiens qui y croient?
Il doit y en avoir encore, c'est sûr qu'il y en a encore.
Tu y crois encore?
Moi, j'y crois plus.
Moi, non plus.
Moi, je pense que le but marqué par Vincent Lecavalier, alors qu'il restait un peu moins de 3 secondes à faire en deuxième période, alors que le Canadien avait très bien joué et avait trouvé une...
13-40, gone. Still no winner, but here comes Anson Carter over the line. Fires a shot. Telpus makes the save. He's got the wraparound! It's in the net! Canada has won! They're going to look at this. The light has not got on. Canada has left the bench, and we've got a review.
Puck's in. That puck is in.
Is the whole puck across the line?
It may be inconclusive from all of the angles that they've got.
It's taken an awful long time, I guess, as it should, with a world championship to be decided right here. Anxious moments for both head coaches.
It's a goal.
Canada has won the gold medal in dramatic fashion. Unbelievable.
A year ago, high drama in Finland. This time, Prague, Czech Republic, the host of the IIHF World Hockey Championship. Can Canada make it 2 in a row? They open up things against Team Austria today in their pool. Alongside Dave Reed, I'm Rod Black. We'll be taking you through the World Championships from our Canadian control over the next couple of weeks. Our play-by-play team is overseas. We'll go to them in a moment. But first, let's assess Team Canada's chances. On paper, this team might be better than last year's team.
Well, I think this team is very much better because you've got 8 returning players, and when you've got 8 guys coming back to a World Championships, most teams don't get that, at least most North American teams. So for Team Canada, most of the players know exactly what to expect, and for those players who don't know what to expect, you've got 8 guys from last year's gold medal team who will get them up to speed very quickly.
Something of the unexpected, though. Andy Murray was the head coach last year, the gold medal winning team. Joel Quenneville was supposed to be the head coach, but he had some exhaustion problems. He was under the weather. He went to hospital. He will be coming home. He will not be the head coach for Team Canada. This will coming really over the last 48 hours. Instead, Mike Babcock will be the pilot.
Well, it's fine. I mean, it's disappointing in one way in the fact that obviously we came here to represent Canada and work with Joel, quality coach and a quality man, and it's unfortunate for himself that he's sick. And yet, I mean, with this opportunity, we have to move forward, and we got a real good opportunity here. We got great players. We have to become a good team.
A year ago, Mike Babcock and his Anaheim Mighty Ducks were going for a cup, came very close. However, this time he's going to try to make it a repeat for Canada as head coach. What do you make of all of this?
Well, very unfortunate for Joel Quenneville. He was very much looking forward to taking charge of this team, his first international experience as a head coach. But unfortunately, when you don't get any sleep in 4 days, it's best for player and team to be sent back. And that's what Joel Quenneville got done to him. He was sent to St. Louis for evaluation and make sure everything's going to be all right. But for Mike Babcock, what a fantastic opportunity to step into a team where he said he was going to learn from Joel Quenneville in this experience. Now he's going to be the teacher, and he's very accustomed to doing that.
We wish Joel Quenneville all the best. He's going to hear a lot of rumors, too, when he gets back on terra firma because of the vacant coaching positions in Ottawa, of course, and the Rangers, and he is one of the top candidates. Let's talk about the line combinations for Team Canada this year. A different look, and that 3M line, we're going to see a lot of them.
We will see a lot of those guys. There's a lot of speed on the left and the middle. Glenn Murray's got one of the hardest shots in the National Hockey League, and I'm sure he'll be shooting from everywhere. Danny Heatley and Briere teamed up last World Championships, had a great season, but you've got to go to Ryan Smith. Now, Ryan Smith is a guy who they call him Captain Canada, 6 straight years in World Championship play. That's good for Ryan Smith, good for Canada, not necessarily good for the Edmonton Oilers, though. Ryan Smith, 42 games in international competition, 11 goals, 13 assists for 24 points. This is a player that everybody's going to look to for leadership in these situations. He does that when he's in Edmonton, and everybody will be relying on him big time there. He's also teamed up with his teammate, or now he's going to be line mate, Sean Horcroft in this tournament.
A name that's not on there, a guy who was an ex-teammate of his, Anson Carter, who was the hero a year ago in Helsinki, not with Team Canada this time around. When we come back, we'll talk about the defenders and the puck stopper, and Roberto Luongo, the #1 guy for Team Canada as the IIHF World Hockey Championships begin on TSN.
The 2004 IIHF World Hockey Championships on TSN are brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud to support Canadian hockey through sponsorship of the World Hockey Championships. By Mitchum M3, so effective you could skip a day. And by Gatorade. Is it in you?
Well, the strength of Team Canada, Dave Reid, may lie in the blue line. Jay Bouwmeester, outstanding last year, and Scott Niedermayer, Olympic gold medalist, Stanley Cup champion.
Well, if you're a young Jay Bouwmeester, who was the 2003 defense MVP of the tournament, excuse me, you're teamed up with a future Hall of Famer, Scott Niedermayer. You're doing pretty well. Lots of speed on that defense, lots of puck-moving capability, but you've got to look at goaltending. Roberto Luongo is the guy that everybody in Canada is hoping to see in the World Cup. Last year, he was in net when Team Canada won the gold at the World Championships, and he's going to be the guy heavily relied upon. He had 7 shutouts in the season, .931 save percentage, but the key stat for Roberto Luongo during the regular season of the National Hockey League is he saved 4,200, or he saw 4,252 shots. That set an NHL record for goaltenders, and I don't think he's going to see that many shots in this tournament. He's going to rely on his team, especially in the preliminary round, the first 3 games. He's going to rely on his defense to hopefully keep them under 20 shots a game. So if anything, he might not know how to play 20 shots a game. He's used to 40 shots a game.
Yeah, that's true. J.S. Giguère is the backup right now. Big troika there for Team Canada. Let's go to our starting goalies today in Prague, Czech Republic. Starting goalies brought to you by Chevrolet for all life's roads. The aforementioned Roberto Luongo, and a guy who wore a gold medal last year in that dramatic overtime thriller with Sweden. At the other end, a guy that Joel Quenneville knew very well, Reinhard Divis.
Well, I'm sure Team Canada is phoning Joel Quenneville. I don't even think they're worried about phoning him. I'm sure he's already got it all set up. Reinhard Divis, good goaltender and the future goalie of the St. Louis Blues.
And already a shutout in the tournament. Reinhard Divis and Austria, actually first place Austria. They beat France yesterday 6-0 to open up the Worlds. Let's go to Prague now and join Dave Randorf and Gary Green. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Rod. Well, Greener, here we go again. Canada comes into this World Championship with 8 returnees from their gold medal squad of a year ago. Lots to talk about on that team, but the big story coming in is off the ice as Joel Quenneville, as you've already heard, is out behind the bench and Mike Babcock takes over on short notice.
Well, Mike Babcock is, first of all, a very capable coach. As we know, last year he took the Anaheim Mighty Ducks to the Stanley Cup Finals. He also coached Team Canada at the World Juniors in '97 when they won a gold. But it's also about a coaching staff, and I really like what they've done now, bringing Mike Polino into the mix. Mike Polino was an assistant coach to Mike Babcock in '97 at the World Juniors, but he was also an assistant coach to Mike Babcock in the Western Hockey League in Spokane. But the interesting thing here is that Mike Polino was also the assistant coach for the national team under Tom Rennie. And Tom Rennie was actually the guy that brought Mike Polino to the national program a few years back. So I like the coaching chemistry here. Polino, of course, was with the team last year when they won the gold medal. And so the chemistry and the international experience is all there.
It all comes together. And speaking of coming together, Canada won gold last year in Helsinki, which was the site of their previous gold. The last time Canada repeated as world champion in back-to-back years was 1959 at a championship held in, you guessed it, Prague. Rod?
Yeah, maybe Twilight Zone stuff, huh? Maybe. Who knows? Austria, Canada next from Prague on TSN.
The 2004 IIHF World Hockey Championships on TSN are brought to you by Esso. At Esso, we're drivers too. By RBC Local Hockey Leaders, recognizing dedicated volunteers who support hockey in their communities. And by Bauer Nike Hockey, accelerating the world's fastest athletes.
Ready to go in Prague. Canada begins its defense of the World Championship. Let's go to Dave Randorf and Gary Green. Austria, the opponent in Game 1.
Thanks very much, Rod. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Prague in the Czech Republic to a brand new, beautiful facility here called Saska Arena. It was just opened the other night officially in a game against the Czech Republic and Team Canada. But tonight they start playing for real. It's just after 8 p.m. local time here in Prague, and Canada begins its defense of the gold medal they won a year ago tonight. And as the defending champion, Gary Green, they get the easier draw in the preliminary round. They face a team right out of the gate that they have never lost to.
Well, let's not forget, though, David, in international play, Canada has oftentimes had trouble against some of their weakest opponents simply because they weren't ready to play.
Well, we'll see how ready they are to play tonight. They start a line of Sean Horkoff between Ryan Smith, wearing the C once again for Team Canada, and Rob Niedermeyer, who's playing with his brother this year the World Championships. Scott, here's a chance right away for Horkoff in front. That came close.
Well, the key for Canada right off the bat is to make sure that they get in on the forecheck, that they get their legs, they get some shots on Divas, and that they maintain their good discipline when it comes to their play between the blue lines.
Reinhard Divas with a record of 4-4-2 this season for the St. Louis Blues. Here's Steve Staios, cross-ice pass, a one-timer from the far side off the stick of his Edmonton Oilers teammate Eric Brewer. Canada gets it deep. And as Lacos watching Ryan Smith playing in his 6th World Championship for Team Canada. That's a Canadian record. Captain Canada, Ryan Smith, always answers the call, as do the Edmonton Oilers, without fail. Number 15 for Austria in the corner there is Thomas Vanek. We'll have to watch him, a first-round draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres, but it's controlled by Staios. Quick shot, and the rebound is covered immediately by Divas.
One thing I know that Mike Babcock and his coaching staff will want to make sure that they do is that they will want to play this type of game today against the Austrians the same way they will against much tougher competition. You don't want to adjust your game much. You want to make sure, first of all, that you've got shot mentality. Get as many shots on net as you possibly can, and make sure that you play a Canadian game. Take the body, but stay out of the penalty box, but get lots of shots up there. Don't overpass.
There's Scott Niedermeyer, who arrived in Prague this morning, along with his Devils teammate Jeff Friesen. We'll see how he looks out there tonight. That's a long trip to make, and then to play a night game here in Prague, but he's out there wearing number 27, one of the alternate captains for Team Canada. Brendan Morrow up front with Brendan Morrison and Glenn Murray, the M and M line for Team Canada.
Well, the good thing for Niedermeyer and Friesen, as well as for Mike Bellino, who's the assistant coach, who also just got off the plane this morning, is that they don't have to play tomorrow, so their next game isn't until Tuesday, so it will give them an opportunity to get caught up in their rest tomorrow.
Quick turnaround on Tuesday, however. They'll play at 12 noon local time. And with all due respect to Mike Bellino, he doesn't have to play tonight. There's Daniel Briere, one of the members of the 2003 World Championship team. Wins the draw, gets it back to Willie Mitchell, playing in his first World Championship. Into the far corner it goes. Briere tries to knock it down out of the air. He's up there with his line mates. Jeff Friesen. In front of the net is Danny Heatley, and Heatley almost got the first goal of the game, charging hard to the net. Now in behind the goal is Heatley, the leading scorer last year, dancing around. Out front for Mitchell, is kept into the line by Derek Morris. Wires a shot that's wide of the mark. Rebound right on, and Divas has to make a couple of saves early as Austria is under attack here. Thomas Koch, number 18 for Austria, in the corner, digging for it, along with Gerhard Unterlugauer. Number 4, far side, this is Lacos. Philippe Lacos with a pass near side, looking for Koch. Missed him. Icing is the call.
Against weaker competition, the other difficulty for Canada is maintaining their discipline. And I say maintaining their discipline in this way. I'm not talking about staying out of the penalty box. That's a must. But I'm talking about not getting that third man caught in deep. It's so easy to kind of start cheating out there against weaker competition, and you don't want to get into bad habits early in this tournament.
Seeing another combination out here for Canada. Matt Cook with Patrice Bergeron and Justin Williams up front. And again, all the play down in the Austrian zone, as Bergeron, who is now the second youngest player to ever suit up for Canada at the Worlds, 18 years of age. He's out there wearing number 37. Here's Steve Staios, flips a shot. Doesn't reach the net, knocked out in front, and Austria manages to clear the zone. Roberto Luongo touches the puck for the first time tonight. Here's Brewer. Eric Brewer to center ice, flips it in there. And play is whistled down.
Short shifts is a key in international play. It was interesting, I was reading a story that Jaromir Jagr says that the North Americans have a huge disadvantage playing in international hockey on the big ice surface. Because of the difference in width, then Jaromir Jagr claims that the Canadian players and American players, for that point, they end up getting tired more easily. Well, I'll tell you how Canada has adapted to that over the last few years. They've gone to 30-second shifts. And that difference in 10 or 15 seconds means a great deal, and especially as the tournament goes on.
Big shot, flipped it on goal. Luongo handles that. Speaking of the Jets, they began their tournament here at home with a win last night against Latvia.
Roberto Luongo gets to field the puck, something that he was quite accustomed to this past year. You heard Dave Reed talking about it. He ended up with 2,475 shots. That's more than 24 teams had in total in the National Hockey League.
Faced an average of 35 shots a game this season, playing for the Florida Panthers, and still put up some great numbers, and is a Vezina Trophy finalist along with a Lester Pearson Trophy finalist as well. 3 minutes into the hockey game, no score. You're watching the World on TSN.
Take me to the consulate. Sorry, my mistake.
Introducing the surprisingly luxurious Chevrolet Epica.
Hey, Greener, you may want to move this down. You're really popping your T's and P's. Welcome back to Prague. 3:18 into the first period. No score between Canada and Austria. Here at Game 1 for Canada, the 2004 World Hockey Championship. Will bring you each and every Team Canada game along the way as they try to defend the gold medal they won a year ago. Long pass looking for Glenn Murray off a skate into the neutral zone now. Moving in, or trying to, was Marcus Paintner. And they managed to get it in deep, but right away the defense for Team Canada is on it. Long pass looking for Brendan Morrow is intercepted there by Mark Zooks, who dumps it right back in. Here's Morrow at a career season with the Dallas Stars this year. Long pass into the middle of the blue line. Cook with a quick snapshot. And down the ice it goes, where this will be icing, and it's coming back down into the Austria zone.
Austria, of course, already played their first game of the tournament, and they ended up beating France yesterday 6-0. Cristobal Hewitt was the goaltender for France, and he had a rather rough ride yesterday, and today was no different. In fact, Cristobal Hewitt ended up allowing 6 goals in the game this afternoon, and he ended up pulling himself, in fact, after 6 goals. So 12 goals in about a game and a half. That was enough for the Los Angeles Kings goaltender.
Danny Heatley right off the face-off as the draw was won, and Heatley didn't waste any time letting it go and just missed the mark.
One of the areas that Canada has usually dominated in international play has been winning face-offs. Daniel Briere won that one cleanly.
There's another guy who had a great season with the Buffalo Sabres. Daniel Briere wins another one. It comes back to Brewer. Eric Brewer through a crowd. It's knocked down in front. Digging forward is Heatley. Try to get it back to the line, but Brewer had already backed up out of the zone. Andre Lacos takes a bump. Here's Heatley again, gathering the puck. Had 7 goals last season, or last year at the championship. Did Danny Heatley. Round the boards it comes to the near side. Jeff Friesen with a quick outlet pass. Here's Briere with Heatley. Heatley takes the shot, fakes it, but it was offside at the line as Canada was rushing in with a potential 2-on-1.
Danny Heatley enjoyed success last year with Team Canada at the World Championship, bringing home gold. I want to get back to those short shifts for just a moment, because Canada experimented with that. In fact, I shouldn't say experiment. They actually used 30-second shifts at the Olympics where they won gold, and that was with the stars of all stars in the NHL. And it worked well there, and Canada has continued along that line. Some NHL players think 30-second shifts. We're used to 40, 45. But that difference in 15 seconds means a great deal to your fatigue factor as this tournament goes on.
Spoken like a true coach. Here comes Austria back the other way. This is Raymond Davis with a centering pass. It takes a strange hop off the equipment of Luongo, and no one was there for the loose puck in front. Here's Bouwmeester stepping up in the play. One of the top defensemen at last year's championship, Jay Bouwmeester, back for another year. Wearing the Team Canada colors, now in behind the net as Bergeron centers the puck. It bounces out in front to the line and kept in by Bouwmeester. Far side, Niedermeyer can't keep it in there, and Bouwmeester gathers it up at center ice. Here comes Rob Niedermeyer now. Niedermeyer looking for the outlet pass. We've got a penalty coming up. It's going to go against Austria, and Team Canada will get its first power play of the game.
I believe it's going to Matthias Tratnik, who ended up hauling Ryan Smith down as Ryan Smith was trying to do what Ryan Smith does so well, and that's go to the net. Go to the net hard. That has been a big part of Ryan Smith's success over the many years, both at the National Hockey League level and at the International Hockey League level.
Morrison, Murray, and Morrow up front for Canada. Steos and Derek Morris along the points for Team Canada. And right away, the Austrians clear it. Austria scored 2 power play goals of their own yesterday and killed off, obviously, all of the power plays that they faced against France. Far side now, here's Morrow. Morrow in behind the net, leaves it for Brendan Morrison. Morrison, who just arrived yesterday, back to Morris. One-timer deflected. They center it again, and Divas cut off the angle. In behind the net is Morrow. Murray goes to the front. One-timer, nice stop by Divas.
Glenn Murray was in perfect positioning, and he just shot that puck as quickly as he got it. You can see the setup. Martin Ulrich ended up looking around and wondering, who should I take now? I'm kind of the only defenseman for Austria standing in front of the net.
Glenn Murray with 32 goals for the Boston Bruins, led the Bruins in that category, almost opened the scoring on the power play. Scrum off the draw, comes back to the line for Niedermeyer. He returns the favor back into the corner, but Austria gets it out. Oliver Setzinger chasing Niedermeyer, forcing him to move it to Heatley in a hurry, and Heatley's immediately met at center ice by Thomas Koch. Now Bergeron ahead to Smith, diving for it, trying to poke it loose for Bergeron. It was just out of his reach, and the Austrians clear it again with less than a minute to go in the man advantage. Here's Heatley, starting the rush back the other way. At center ice now is Briere over the line. Gains the zone, then drops it off for Bergeron. Gets it back to Briere. Daniel Briere looking for things to set up. Gets it into the corner for Bergeron. Back to Briere. Briere to the line. Quick shot on the way from Niedermeyer. Hit a skate and deflects into the corner. Now in behind the net, it's Smith. He's immediately met by Martin Ulrich. Over to Bergeron. Goes through his skates and to the far side. Welsner gets it free, and Austria sends it down the ice. 15 seconds to go, and Niedermeyer's got room to move. Scott Niedermeyer has the poke pucked away from him, and that will pretty well do it for the power play as Thomas Polk finishes the job.
You saw Luongo move that puck up to Niedermeyer, and you have that advantage here because there's no red line. Whoa, that was a good save by Luongo, and a quick one, too.
After he gave it away with another long pass. So Austria survives their first test. We're still scoreless. 8 minutes into the hockey game. This is Matthias Tratnik trying to go wide on Brewer. Still with it as Tratnik centers the puck. And that's broken up by Horkoff. In on goal, Luongo steers it towards the near side. Brewer flips it ahead, looking for Cook. Now the Austrians seem to have found their balance after a very lopsided opening 4 or 5 minutes. At least they're keeping some of the play down this end.
Well, they've got a little bit of confidence now. They're starting to use their skating legs, and they're a pretty decent skating hockey club.
That one is dumped in way high off the netting, and we'll take another break, and we'll be back to Prague right after this.
There is no wall. It's just me and her.
Great plays start at Source for Sports. We know our stuff.
When a kid really needs to talk to a friend,
Kids Help Phone.
make sure we're here to answer. On May 2nd, join the Bell Walk for Kids in support of Kids Help Phone.
The RBC Local Hockey Leaders Program recognizes dedicated volunteers that support hockey in their community. This season, RBC has donated over $100,000 on behalf of 14 regional winners like Art Como of St. John, New Brunswick. For more information, visit rbchockeyleaders.com.
Scoreless in Prague. Let's get back to Gary Green and Dave Randorf at the Worlds.
8:31 gone in the first period. Canada and Austria here in the 2004 World Hockey Championship. Brendan Morrison, who got the call to join Team Canada the morning after his team was eliminated in overtime by the Calgary Flames, shook that off, and here he is, along with his teammate Matt Cook. Two players who played a huge role in that series for the Vancouver Canucks in the losing cause. Here's Nick Schultz of the Minnesota Wild, getting an opportunity to play in his first World Championship. Dumped in by Team Canada, and that play is whistled down.
Now, for the Austrians, it's important that they put on a good show this year in Prague, simply because, well, they host it next year. The Austrians will be hosting the World Hockey Championship. It's quite an honor, but at the same time, they want to be a respectable hockey club. Last year, they finished 10th.
And since 1931, in World Championship play, they've gone 0-9 against Team Canada and been outscored by a whole bunch, 56-4 to be exact. But they've got Canada pinned for the moment here, and behind the net there is Welsner. Daniel Welsner trying to come out with it. Andre Lacko steps up from the blue line, and out with it is Friesen. Quick pass out ahead to Justin Williams. He's in against Martin Ulrich, the veteran for Austria. And we got another penalty call coming up, a slashing call against Team Canada.
Williams is heading to the penalty box, and it's for this move right here. He just ends up giving Martin Ulrich a good two-hander, and as a result, the Austrians, who have shown a little bit of confidence in this last 5 minutes, will get the opportunity on the power play to see what they can do.
As mentioned, 2 power play goals for the Austrians yesterday against France. They went 2 for 4, and Mike Babcock spent a good amount of time in the morning skate this morning talking about their power play formation and how to defend against it. He said, they're not going to beat us tonight, boys. We'll see. Here's Thomas Vanek. In low to Dieter Kalt. This is Matthias Tratnik back to the line. Tratnik now tries a cross-ice pass, hits a skate, and comes out of the zone, and they'll have to all back out of there. Thomas Polk, fine young player, recently signed by the New York Rangers. Played 6 games for them down the stretch. Polk puts it into the corner, around the boards it goes, and this one should be cleared by Niedermeyer.
And Polk scored in his very first NHL game. He was just signed. He came up after finishing off the university season and ended up then scoring a goal for the New York Rangers. In his 6 games, he ended up scoring a couple of goals, and his father is the coach of this team.
Herbert Polk, his 2nd year behind the bench for Team Austria, and one of their all-time leading scorers in national team history. His dad, Gerhard Unterlugauer, number 4, gets it cross ice. That shot didn't miss by much on the high short side. Unterlugauer takes a shot that's knocked down in front. Rebound right there, lying there for Thomas Koch, and it was blocked as well. Under a minute to go in the Austrian power play. Good possession and a couple of chances from the blue line. Here comes Lucas. Lucas is dancing in there, has it poked away, comes to the near side. Mark Zooks with it now. Zooks stepping in, down to Lucas. Philip Lucas out in front. Back to the line for Unterlugauer. Ulrich is with him at the points. Unterlugauer, one-timer, nice stop by Luongo. His first real test of this hockey game, and that test was passed. Out it comes with just 13 seconds to go on the man advantage, and they forced Luongo to make maybe one of the best saves we've seen so far in the hockey game.
Well, you saw Canada playing a pretty disciplined box. They will play aggressively, but there's a bigger ice surface out there, and they have to be careful when they play aggressively.
Oliver Setzinger down, number 91, drifts once. A late penalty coming up against Canada, so they'll go right back into penalty killing mode. Once they touch it, They do. We'll tell you about this penalty when we come back to the 2004 World Hockey Championship.
Whoa. What are you doing?
Playing hide and go seek.
That's hide and seek? I found you in 2 seconds. Get out of there. If you want to win this game, you got to do a lot better than that. Right? Come on. Get in. Hustle. Now that's the way you play the game.
Tomorrow, NHL playoffs on TSN continue. Those amazing San Jose Sharks up 2-0 in their series with the Avalanche. Tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on TSN. Let's send you back to Prague.
Derek Morris was the guilty party for Canada, 2 for cross-checking. So just as they kill one penalty, they'll have to kill another one, and Austria came close on their opening power play of the game. As Canada, who had early domination going in the early stages of the first period, have started to feel the heat just a little bit here against the Austrians. And Austria will start out from their own zone. Long pass off the stick of Thomas Polk up to center ice now. Near side, Daniel Welzer. And this is Lucas. Over to Polk with some room to move. Polk steps around one Canadian. Around the net he goes. Here's Welzer now. Welzer cross-ice pass. Winding up his Koch. He set up Welzer for the one-timer, and he couldn't connect. Polk again. Thomas Polk out of UMass tries the wrist shot, and it deflects wide. Welzer has it poked away by Schultz. Schultz follows it up into the corner. Morrow gets it up to Morrow. And here comes Brendan Morrison with a puck. Morrison dancing in there, and they'll just kill a little bit more time off the clock. Rob Niedermeyer moving in. Here's Niedermeyer trying to center it to Steos, and that pass is broken up. Dieter Kult gets it ahead to Vanek. Now Steos takes it away. Crowd reacting to some more rough play as Austria sets up with the 47 seconds left on the power play. Here's Kult. Into the corner now. They're looking for Tratnik in front. It comes near side to Unterlugauer. Flips it on goal. Knocked down by Brewer. And this will be cleared by Horkov. Horkov turns back with 30 seconds to go in the man advantage.
Canada has the abilities to play a little bit of keep away here at times when they spread out. You saw them just do that, but then they ended up deciding to dump it down the ice and get some fresh legs on the ice.
Martin Ulrich, who has a ton of experience in the World Championship. This is game number 178 for him, playing on the Austrian national team. Over the line he comes, dancing in there, rolls off his stick, but they gain possession of it. Now here's Zooks moving in. His shot was blocked. He gets his own rebound. It was lying there for just a moment. Penalty is over. Team's back at even strength. As Smith didn't see that pass coming, Unterlugauer tries to get it ahead to Peitner. Marcus Peitner dumps it in. There's Niedermeyer now into the middle for Jay Bouwmeester. Such a great skater with a puck. Bouwmeester flips it in. Reinhard Divas out of his goal to handle it. Briere's in there on a forecheck in a hurry. Somehow they managed to keep that in. Briere trying to tackle his man and get the puck, but it comes out. Now Briere has it over the line. Daniel Briere takes a quick shot, and Reinhard Divas saw it all the way.
Well, Divas has stopped what he's had to in this first period, but I've got to admit, especially based on the last 5 minutes, that Roberto Luongo has had the toughest of the saves so far in this game, and that's highly unexpected. Roberto Luongo has been very sharp in making sure that Canada has got an opportunity to try to get the momentum back. They lost that momentum after about 5 minutes of the first period, of this early going of the first period, I should say.
Friesen and Williams in on the forecheck. Bergeron's up front with them, playing center ice on this line. Down the ice it goes, where this will be icing it, and it's coming all the way back down.
One of the problems that Canada has had over the course of many, many years has been the fact that they really have a difficult time getting the adrenaline going for playing the likes of Austria and France, which will be their next competition.
Willie Mitchell with a shot that's blocked by Raymond Divas. Centering pass is blocked, but out from behind the net. Good chance there for Friesen. Now Friesen's cruising around in the high slot as his line mates Bergeron and Williams do the rest. Friesen keeps it in, but only momentarily. Austria will eventually gain control of this thing and get it out. Here comes Raymond Davis over the line. Tries a shot that's deflected wide in behind the net. On it immediately is Kaspitz, Roland Kaspitz, wearing number 8 for Austria. He's being watched by Bergeron from behind there. Bergeron giving him the business, and out it comes. Andre Lacos now. He moves in over the line, takes a shot, and scores! Lacos firing one towards the Canadian goal. It deflected on the way in, and Austria has the 1-0 lead.
It was a screenshot. I don't think Roberto Luongo could see it. And Andre Lacos was smart enough to realize the screen was set up, so just throw that puck right at the net.
Andre Lacos, who plays for the Vienna Capitals in the Austrian League, playing in his 5th World Championship. It's a big goal here against the defending champions from Canada. With less than 5 minutes to go in the opening period here in Prague. Yeah, we've seen this before from Team Canada, Greener. We'll see how they respond now as Divas juggles that for just a moment, but covers up. Face-off coming up.
It's kind of like an airbag.
An airbag?
Same at the airport, check an email. I drop my ThinkPad. It senses the drop. Hard drive braces for impact. Like an airbag.
So if I dropped it, it would just...
Brace for impact.
Oh, yeah?
That's not my notebook.
Check, please.
Klutz-proof wireless, only on a ThinkPad with Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Get the coffee going early. Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Canada plays France, who lost to Austria 6-0 yesterday. The Austrians lead 1-0 here in Prague. Back to Dave and Gary.
Thanks, Rod. And then they'll face Switzerland before the qualification round begins. But right now, they've got to, well, even the score here against Austria, Gary.
Oh, I've seen this story before. After doing the World Championships for as many years as I have seen Canada falter against some of the weaker clubs. But there's lots of time left in this hockey game, and it won't hurt the coaching staff right now if, and in fact, they do even go into the dressing room down a goal. It will really give Canada an opportunity to experience the wake-up call and then hopefully play a much better next 40 minutes.
Here comes Heatley with Briere and Dumont up front, but back the other way is Thomas Vanek. One-on-one with Brewer. He falls, and Brewer takes over. Dieter Kalt following up on the play, but Brewer gets it to his partner, Steos, who gets it back to Brewer. Thomas Vanek, the 19-year-old who plays at the University of Minnesota, taken 5th overall in the entry draft last year. Highest drafted player from Austria ever in their history. Almost had a chance there. Now dancing in with it is Philip Lucas. He'll just get it deep. And Austria is in on the attack again. This is Zooks. Zooks lost control. It comes into the middle. It's poked to the line where Morrow tried to get it ahead to Murray. He leaves it for Morrison. Here's Brendan Morrison being pushed off the puck there by Lucas. There's 2 Lucases out there and 2 Lacoses, so try to stay with me here. It's always a lot of fun for the play-by-play guys over here at the World Championships.
Well, Andre and Felipe are actually brothers and both play defense. Makes it even more confusing for you, David.
A lot of brother combinations in this game. There's one of the brothers, Scott Niedermayer, who was winding up, and it was offside at the line.
And will this man win the Norris Trophy this year? Boy, he had a great season, and he loves this big ice surface. And as this tournament goes on, you will see Scott Niedermayer take full advantage of it. Canada's got lots of speed in the back end. And you take a look at the fact that Bouwmeester and Niedermayer are world-class skaters. This additional ice surface really helps them out immensely.
He's played for Canada before, obviously, but this is Niedermayer's first crack at the World Championships. 12-year NHL veteran into the middle. One-timer there by Kotz. There's a rebound and a save by Luongo, and he covers up with Austria pressing big time in the Canadian zone. Already up 1-0.
What Canada has learned over the last few years especially is the fact that there are no real weak nations. Sure, the scores will end up being, well, off balance in many of these games, but in the early going especially, Canada will experience teams who will be up as they can ever get. I mean, this is without question in a lot of cases their gold medal games.
Measure themselves against one of the best teams in the world and one of the clear-cut favorites here this year in Prague. Play in the near corner there as Kaspitz tries to shake it loose. Finally does. Davis puts a weak shot on goal, and Luongo just leaves it for Brewer. Brewer ahead to Matt Cook, who's bumped off the puck by Unterlugauer. Try seeing that one 3 times in a hurry. Down the ice it goes.
No thanks, you do it.
Yeah, icing waved off. Thanks, Peter. And here comes Scott Niedermayer. Briere and Heatley bump into one another, and Austria sends it right back where it came from. They'll start again. Here comes Scott Niedermayer. Beats the first man to center ice, tries to beat a second, still with the puck, but you saw after that second bump, he put the rest of his teammates offside.
I've got to say that Canada were more in sync in their first 6 or 7 shifts of the hockey game than they have been in the latter part of this first period. Now, some of that, of course, will also be because they're down a goal and might be pressing a little bit more. At the same time, let's not forget that Canada hasn't even had an opportunity to practice as a team yet. As Dave explained to you, some of the players, in fact, just got off of planes this morning. So for Canada, they use these games as stepping stones. They know that they need to start at a high level, but then they need to get better each and every period.
It's all about building. They're not going to hit the ground running as this team is kind of thrown together. 2 players arriving today, 4 arriving yesterday. Mike Babcock put it best yesterday when I spoke to him. He said, we've got a pretty good, we got good players. Now we've got to become a good team. And that takes a few games. Over the line now, Austria with a quick shot off the stick of Post. And Luongo makes another stop into the final minute of the opening period. Here's Dieter Colt. Colt tries to make a move around Bouwmeester. Colt scored 9 seconds into the win yesterday against France. That's Robert Lucas. Chipping it ahead for Vanek. Vanek's given a bump by J.P. Dumont, and this is Colt over the line. Tried to get it for Tratnik. It was all primed and ready for the slap shot. But instead, Willie Mitchell will start out for Team Canada. Up to Morrow at center ice. He'll throw it in there. And a penalty is coming up here. This is going to be a holding call again against Canada. Brendan Morrison is the guilty party this time.
Well, I know the coaching staff will have gone over this with their players time and time again, and in fact, these players know it full well anyway. In international hockey, Canada has got to avoid the penalty box. And a play like Morrison just made right there is sure to earn you a trip to the penalty box.
Morrison playing in his 2nd World Championship. Never played in a World Junior Championship. Said he came close one year, but got one of those dreaded early morning phone calls at the Christmas camps or the pre-Christmas camp.
A lot of great players in the National Hockey League have had those early morning phone calls.
But here he is, representing Canada, trying to defend the gold medal they won. Hard shot, deflects, comes to the near side. Andre Lacos, the goal scorer, gets it back at the point, tries to flip another one towards the goal. It worked once, why not again? Time runs out in the first period, and the Austrian fans are on their feet, and why not? They've got a 1-0 lead over the defending champions from Canada. Back to studio, here's Rod and Dave.
Love the European fans. They go crazy, especially when they're playing against a powerhouse like Canada. They've been down this road before, Team Canada. Remember last year against Denmark, a tie. They didn't play that well against Switzerland as well. A year ago in their opening game, they played Belarus, and they were spinning their wheels. They did win the game 3-0, but trailing 1-0 after one has to be considered somewhat of a stunner.
Well, I would say it's a little bit of a stunner. I was kind of expecting to see a power play goal possibly for Austria, but that wasn't the case. Canada got a good forecheck going early, but for some reason they stopped doing it, and I think it was mainly penalty trouble, but it wasn't penalty trouble in this situation. It was more of a bad line change that gets them caught as we let it roll through. It's going to be Brendan Morrison coming up through the middle. Right here, this is Brendan Morrison coming up, going for a change. You can see everybody in front of Team Canada's bench is changing. You're really leaving your defense vulnerable in the wide rink in international hockey when you do this. Coming onto the ice, excuse me, it was Justin Williams changing. Coming onto the ice is Brendan Morrison. He comes back in, but that's too late. This is Willie Mitchell. He's already backed off the blue line. If you give anybody this much room, the play is just put it to the net. And I think they may end up changing this because Roland Kaspitz was going to the net. I think it deflected off him. But in front, it's Derek Morris. He tries to stop him, but he can't do it. But the key to the play is the change, which allows Austria to get the blue line. That's going to force your defense to back off. You got to remember, this is not National Hockey League hockey. This is international hockey. The rinks are bigger. There's more space wide. That makes it tougher for a defenseman. You don't want to get beat wide. You'd rather back off and give up the blue line. And Team Canada couldn't get on the ice quick enough to put pressure on the puck carrier. It's thrown to the net, and it creates a scoring opportunity. In this case, it was the only goal of the period, but it may get a change on that because Roberto Luongo seemed to overplay the shot, and that's why I believe it was deflected in front. We'll just have to wait and see. If it wasn't, I think you'd say it was a screen, but that's a tough start for Canada in the first game.
Yeah, considering they came out of the gate storming and really peppered Reinhard Davis. We'll have to see what happens in the second period. They didn't have a lot of offensive chances, and of course, you have to stay out of the penalty box. More during the first period intermission when we come back. You're watching the World Hockey Championship on TSN.
So say thanks with the KFC Mom's Meal. Original recipe seasoned chicken, delicious salads, crispy fries, and for dessert, a decadent double fudge chocolate cake. But hurry, it's a limited time offer. The KFC Mom's Meal. There's more in the bucket.
Get your skis shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move you when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. Sweet.
Juicy fruit. Sweet.
Why don't I drink American beer? Why don't I buy a Moroccan snowmobile? Why don't I eat a Japanese hot dog? Why don't I wear Italian hip waders? Or Jamaican snowshoes? So, why don't I drink American beer? Because I am Canadian.
Mount Everest Base Camp, 17,000 feet. Whose idea was this? Fortunately, with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can see a friendly face wirelessly from thousands of places. Even if you can't feel your fingers. Intel Centrino, mobile technology.
Ben Stiller and Jack Black are about to discover
You spray it on dog poo and the poo disappears.
that money can't buy happiness.
That's right!
But it can buy
So much.
everything else.
I've been liposucked.
Envy from director Barry Levinson.
I don't care how much money we make, don't buy one of these.
Starts this Friday everywhere.
When you lead an active physical life, you need food energy. Fuel up with Vector from Kellogg's. Its delicious crunchy flakes, granola clusters, and milk are a complete meal, with protein to help build and repair body tissue like muscles, carbs to supply energy to working muscles, and over 20 vitamins and minerals. Plus, there's Vector energy bars in 3 great flavors for your sports nutrition needs. Try great-tasting Vector meal replacement and Vector energy bars in stores now. Brand power, helping you buy better.
Canada plays France Tuesday morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific time. And we have an encore presentation later that day. They have to get by Austria. First, of course, 1-0 Austria leading Canada after 1. The general manager of Team Canada is Jim Nill, a man you know very well.
Well, early in my career, Jim Nill and I were in Boston together, and you could not find, you probably still can't find, a tougher man, pound for pound, than Jim Nill. He had a little trouble getting there on the speed, but he was one of the best third-line players. When I came up, he was with the Bruins.
It's amazing how those kind of players become great organization men as well. He's an assistant general manager with the Detroit Red Wings. He is the GM of Team Canada, and he sat down and spoke with Dave Randorf.
Let's talk a little bit about putting this team together. You played a large part in doing that last year, but now you're the guy with the hammer. It's tough, isn't it? Because you're watching the playoffs and trying to decide who's going to get knocked out and who could carry on. You have to hedge your bets early on. Tell us about the process.
Well, it starts back in November, and we sat down. We first of all, we added our staff. I've got two great people working with me, Don Maloney and Landon McDonald. And you start doing your depth charts way back in November and watching teams. And then you start getting down to crunch time, which teams are the playoffs, who's in it, who's going to be out. And we found from past history that the sooner you can add people and get commitments, the better off you are. So you try to get the people that are the playoffs, get them committed. And the big part of this tournament is the commitment that people put into it. You have to want to come over here and play, and it's important. And we've been fortunate in the past. I think we've kind of seen a change into the guard in Canadian hockey. You know, we've got some great young players coming up. You know, the Dan Heatleys and Rick Nashes and Daniel Briers. These type of players are kind of the new young guns taking over our hockey, and they're gun-ho for this type of hockey. And then you add that in with the experience of a Ryan Smith, Steve Staios, those type of players. It really supplements your team, and we've had a great commitment by players this year.
And I know we were all looking forward to seeing a Rick Nash come over here and play, but unfortunately injury kept him from making the trip here to Prague. Defending, this is something Canada has not done at the World Championship since the late 50s. Here you are in a position, you're one of the favorites coming in. Where do you think the strengths lie in this team, and who do you expect to really depend upon here in this tournament?
Well, I think our overall leadership is outstanding, and then you look at our skill level. You know, you had a Glenn Murray was a last-minute addition, a Brendan Morrow. You know, then you talk about the players that committed to it early, the Ryan Smiths, the Steve Staioses. We added a Scott Niedermayer the last minute. You know, and then you go down, look at the back end and the net, and anytime you can mention three names, Luongo, Giguère, and Denny, it doesn't get much better than that. And it's an honor to have the opportunity to defend the tournament, and it's even more of an honor to be a Canadian team defending it. And I know I've been in that dressing room. The guys take a lot of pride in that, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, it's a pretty good team, and we're looking forward to watching this team go along over the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much, and best of luck. Back to you guys.
Yeah, not looking so good after one, though, in game one. To do some bounce back in period two, trailing Austria 1-0.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Well, for statistics, scores, and updates on Team Canada at the World Championship, log on www.hockeycanada.ca. You can purchase Team Canada licensed merchandise, hockeycanada.ca, the official website of Hockey Canada and Team Canada at the Worlds. Other scores going on. This is day two of the Worlds. Remember, France getting blitzed twice, 6-0 to Austria, 6-0 to Switzerland today. Alexander Ovechkin, the Russian sensation, scoring in that game. Alexei Yashin also scored. 6-2, Russia beat Denmark, and Sweden leading Japan 2-1. That's in the first intermission. First period summary here. Lacos for Austria. 11-4, the shots on goal. Austria? My, oh my. We'll be back.
This SportsCenter update is brought to you by National Car Rental. With over 300 convenient locations across Canada, you can be sure National will be there for you.
Hey everybody, Corey Warren back here in the SportsCenter newsroom. The Canadians and Lightning are set to resume their series in about an hour's time. Tampa leading 1-0 in the best-of-7 series. The Lightning took game one by a 4-0 score. Nikolai Hamby-Bulin has a .66 goals against average and a .975 save percentage in the playoffs. Martin St. Louis had 3 assists in that victory. Toronto Maple Leafs will be without Joe Nieuwendyk for Game 2 of their series with the Flyers tonight. He's out with an undisclosed upper body injury. Matt Sundin has missed 4 games with an undisclosed lower body injury. He is listed as a game-time decision. And just a reminder, the NHL playoffs return. It's the NHL on TSN Monday night. The Sharks and Avalanche Game 3 in high definition. More hockey on the way.
They sure are getting big.
Yeah. I'm trying to build them bunk beds, but I'm having trouble with the long straight cuts. You said you had something that would help?
Yep. The Mastercraft AccuRip Circular Saw Guide from Canadian Tire. This helps you make straight cuts fast and easy. Just slide the AccuRip onto your circular saw's base plate and align the 0 mark with the blade. Adjust the guide to widths as small as 1/16 of an inch or as big as 2 feet. Then make your rip cut with no measuring or marking. There's no need to remove it for cross cuts. And it makes straight and accurate bevel cuts, too.
Hey, this AccuRip can go where table saws can't.
Perfect for tight fits like this. The AccuRip shaves off exactly what you need. The Mastercraft AccuRip Circular Saw Guide, only $49.99. Things just seem to get a little easier. So, who got the top?
They both did.
When you start at Canadian Tire.
Brendan Morrison in the box to begin the second period, Dave Reed.
Well, that's what Team Canada has to do, is stay out of the penalty box and get that momentum back that they've given to Austria at the end of the first period.
Let's send it back to the guys in Prague, period 2 at the Worlds.
As you look at Reinhard Dimas, who stopped all the shots he faced in the Austrian goal, 1:39 remaining in the holding penalty to Brendan Morrison. As Team Canada took back-to-back penalties there in the late stages of the first, and we're underway here in the second period, and right away Austria has to chase it down into their own end. Out to center ice now as Dieter Kalt, the captain for Austria, comes near side for Matthias Tratnik around the net. Tratnik with it, has nobody in front, so he comes all the way to the point. Tratnik sets up, has it roll off his stick, loses possession, and down the ice it goes. This is Gerhard Unterlugauer starting out from his own end. Makes one move of the blue line over center ice. Unterlugauer gains the zone and fires it in there. Around the boards it comes to Kalt. Here's Kalt, leaves it for Thomas Vanek. Back to Kalt. Kalt into the middle. Unterlugauer with a shot and a great stop by Luongo.
Luongo was going down at the time, and all of a sudden he saw that that puck was headed right for the top corner glove side. He just whipped that glove out immediately in order to catch it. Great save by Luongo, but once again the Austrians starting off this second period of play with a scoring opportunity.
Luongo stopped 37 of 39 shots in the gold medal game a year ago against Sweden, and remember, he was pressed into duty in the semifinal against the Czech Republic when Sean Burke, who had carried most of the load and played most of the key games to that point, Luongo went in midstream in that game, held the fort, they won it, and then he was brilliant in the gold medal game. And you know what he's done this season in the NHL. And it looks like he's picking up right where he left off there with the Florida Panthers. 40 seconds to go on the man advantage for Austria. Thomas Polk starts out along with Robert Lucas. Robert Lucas fires it in far corner. Matt Cook tries to bump his man Zooks off the puck. Comes to the line, but knocked out of the air by Polk. Now far side, this is Zooks. Zooks with Philip Lucas, cruising around the high slot. Near boards it goes, and out it comes to center ice. Polk taking his time, goes cross ice now, while Austria resets. Robert Lucas leaves it for Oliver Setzinger. He'll flip it in there. Luongo lets it bounce off the boards as he saw Brewer coming, and Brewer clears it, and that will do it for the penalty against Morrison. He steps onto the ice, and Canada has killed off another one, and they remain down just 1-0.
Luongo knew that with the penalty being over that he would just hang on to that puck and allow Canada the opportunity to kind of get reorganized here at even strength. We were talking earlier in the first period about Luongo and the number of shots that he actually had at him this year. Just to put it also into perspective, he ended up having 600 more shots than Marty Brodeur had and 800 more shots than Marty Turco had.
Scott Niedermayer gathers it up in behind his own net. Again, in case you missed it, Niedermeyer, along with Jeff Friesen, just arrived in Prague this morning. That's an 8-hour flight, folks, from the East Coast to Frankfurt. Then you got a connector there for another hour-long flight to Prague, straight to the rink for the morning skate. Both of them were here, and now they're playing for an 8 o'clock game tonight for Team Canada. Canada now with a little pressure on. Ryan Smith can't dig it out. Niedermeyer steps up, and he can't keep it in. Setzinger will chip it out. Waiting for it now is Daniel Welser trying to step around Bomeister. It comes up into the air and into the middle for Ryan Smith, who gathers it up. Captain Canada starts it back the other way. Here comes Heatley with Briere. Danny Heatley with that great long reach of his goes to the one-handed approach, leaves it for Briere. He centered it, and instead Austria comes out. It's a 2-on-1 break. As Canada hustles back into position, there's the shot by Polk, and it didn't miss by much.
Willie Mitchell really hustled back.
Ryan Smith along the near boards. There's a quick shot as the Austrians' forecheck is causing trouble here in the Canadian zone.
Willie Mitchell was back checking there in order to get into position. He showed a tremendous burst of speed right through the neutral zone.
Good forecheck by Friesen. Now he gets a shot. Davis makes the save, and clearing the rebound just in time was the Austrian defender. Kaspitz was there just in the nick of time. Good forecheck by Friesen, created an opportunity, and he came close to tying this game up. Here's Derek Morris, now of the Phoenix Coyotes. They get it ahead. Murray, who's a big body, is muscled off the puck by Polk. And here comes Marcus Paintner. Paintner over the line, leaves it for Vanek. Vanek snaps a shot, hits the post. No, he didn't. He scored. That's a goal, and it is 2-0.
The referee was very quick to use his hand to signal that it was a goal. It ended up hitting the mesh. You can see the mesh still moving, no question about that. And Canada find themselves down by now 2 goals. That puck was in and then right back out. You see the replay of it going in and out, in and out.
Hit that camera in there. That's what caused it to bounce out so fast. Great shot by the youngster, the 19-year-old Thomas Vanek, who had 4 assists yesterday against France, and now he's given his team a 2-0 lead.
And the only one cheering back in North America for that goal would be the Buffalo Sabres.
And a first-rounder from the 2003 entry draft.
He was 5th overall.
Player, Austrian native, that is huge for this country. You can see he's got a heavy wrist shot. That was one of the big things in his scouting report. Hard wrist shot, and you saw it right there. 2-0. Austria leads Canada in Prague.
ESSO rewards youngsters across Canada with most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved player medals, and reinforces team commitment with certificates of achievement for each member. ESSO, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
Assistant coach Mike Polino there on the Canadian bench trying to rally the troops, saying, come on, boys, we can come back from this. Canada went undefeated last year in the World Championship, 8-0-1, something they've only done a couple of times. Now they'll have to come from behind tonight to keep that streak alive. As the team in red has stunned the defending champions so far early here in the second. 2-0, but as you know, Canada possesses a lot of experience here. They can strike quick. Ryan Smith is bumped along the end boards. Scooping it up was Niedermeyer, leaves it for Sean Horkoff. A member of the gold medal team from a year ago. They try to center it back to Horkoff. He's all tied up. Ryan Smith in front, shoots! And Davis got just enough of that. Into the corner it goes. Here's Smith again. Ryan Smith leaves it for Horkoff. Back to the point for Stales. He saw the man coming, puts it towards the net. A lot of bodies in front. Niedermeyer got away with a good hard shot up high on Thomas Koch. Dumped in near side. There's Niedermeyer gathering it up. Niedermeyer walks out in front. Penalty coming up, and this one is going to go against Austria. Delayed penalty coming up as Jay Bomeister spins away from his check. Setzinger. Setzinger gave Bomeister a pretty good whack there with a stick. Here comes Canada on the delayed penalty call into the center ice area. Nick Schultz snaps a shot. It's deflected in front. Now here's Heatley setting up with the extra attacker on. Bouwmeester, fans on the shot. Austria can't get a hold of that thing. Brendan Morrow trying to keep possession. Finally, play is whistled down, and Canada will go on the power play.
Danny Heatley got taken down in front of the net, and he was a little perturbed when that whistle finally blew, but it's best served right now for Danny Heatley to wait till later. There was certainly a crowd in front of Reinhard Diebes in the Austrian net. There you see where the Austrian player was a little upset previously, and he felt that he had got a stick in the face. Daniel Welser, though, was the man that was guilty for hooking, and Canada will now have another opportunity here on the power play. It's about time that Canada really started to get that traffic in front. You saw Ryan Smith being the leader on that last shift. He went to the net, hard. You've got to get in front of Reinhard Diebes right now.
Morrison, Morrow, and Murray up front for Team Canada with Niedermeyer and Morris on the points. Austria sends it down the ice. Scott Niedermeyer back to chase it. Niedermeyer with 14 goals and 54 points, tied for second most among NHL defensemen this year, just 1 point behind the leader, Sergei Gonchar, and he was tied with Chris Pronger in that category. Murray takes a chop at his man. It comes around far side for Morris, who takes it off the boards. Morris into the corner now for Morrison. Morrison lets it go by him. Around the boards it comes. Morris steps up with a play, trying to get it deep for Morrow. Murray can't handle it, and it comes out to center ice. Here's Niedermeyer now. Long pass, almost cut off there by Austria, and instead that is going to be offside. Icing.
What I mentioned about Canada getting in front of Reinhard Diebes now, remember, Reinhard Diebes isn't just a European goaltender. He does have National Hockey League experience. He's definitely got North American experience. He only played in 13 games this year with the St. Louis Blues as Chris Osgood's backup in the latter part of the season. Played in 18 minutes in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs when Osgood was pulled in the San Jose series. Right now, Reinhard Diebes will be difficult to beat.
Briere just a step late getting to that puck, but Heatley tries to keep it in. Aggressive play there by the Austrian forward as it's centered, looking for J.P. Dumont. Dumont is pinned along the far boards momentarily by Ulrich. It comes back to the line. Brewer to Heatley. One-timer off the shins of the Austrian player. And out they come to center ice. This is Philip Lucas trying to move in on Brewer. He's content just to steer Canada in deep with less than 30 seconds to go on the man advantage as Heatley carries it over center ice. Danny Heatley leaves it for Smith at the point. He flips it into the corner. Poke fans on the clearing attempt. Heatley's got it in behind the net, centers it. Puck is lying right there, and Diebes has got it.
I mentioned earlier about this game for the Austrians being somewhat like a gold medal game to them. The reason being, back in Austria right now, for this team to be playing Canada at the World Championship, all eyes, all Austrian hockey fans will be watching this game. If Reinhard Diebes ever pulls off a win against Canada, he would be a huge hero back in Austria. He already is well known, of course, because he plays in the National Hockey League. But to beat Canada, all these players back in Austria would be huge heroes.
Well, they're heroes right now as they've killed off another Canadian power play. There's a large contingent of Austrian fans down in the Canadian zone right in behind Roberto Luongo. They've been standing all night long. Here's Patrice Bergeron. He can't get loose. Leaves it for Horkoff. Horkoff flips it towards the net, deflected by Niedermeyer and stopped by Diebes, who looks pretty sharp at that Austrian goal. Now out with it is Raymond Diebes. He's over the line, takes a shot that's well over the net. Another penalty coming up, and this one's going against Canada as well.
World Hockey Championships. Prague, Czech Republic. Canada trailing 2-0 and back in the box. Let's go back to Dave and Gary.
Well, there you see Rob Niedermeyer getting a penalty for dangerous equipment. One of the calls you don't often see, and that's why.
Once you lose your helmet, you cannot continue to play by international rules. You have to do one of two things: either go straight to the player's bench for legal substitution, or else you have to pick up your helmet and put it on and do the chin strap up. If you do not do the chin strap up, then you'll also be penalized.
I think that's just a case of just forgetting a rule that they don't often see.
No question about that.
Niedermayer's represented Canada 4 times in international play, playing in 2 World Championships, but that time I don't even know if he had time to get to the bench before he was right back in the play. But regardless, he's in the box. 30 seconds gone already in the Austrian power play, and here they come. It's Colt. Dieter Colt over the line, into the middle, now high slot. There's the shot, tipped just wide. Vanek, the most recent goal scorer, is out there. Number 15, Colt's in the corner. Vanek gets it back to Colt, but it's broken up by Niedermayer. Gets it near side, looking for Williams, and he chops it out. Morrison up ahead. Niedermayer flips it back, but it is offside at the line.
I think that rule was put in years ago in the international rule book because of risk management, insurance cases. And so, is it a bad rule? Well, I'm not so sure that we won't see it in the National Hockey League in years to come because of the risk to players injury-wise.
Sure, he's not thrilled right now, but this must be a thrill for both Rob and Scott. They become the 5th brother tandem to play for Canada at the Worlds, and just the 3rd to play on the same team. Russ and Jeff Courtnall did it in '91, and Tony and Phil Esposito did it way back in 1977. Mark Zukes over the line, dumps it in, takes a hop off the boards. Lucas was right there, but he couldn't jam it in short side. It comes out to center ice. This is Martin Ulrich, playing in his 9th World Championship for Austria. Leaves it for Unterlugauer. Unterlugauer flips it in there, a soft dump, takes a nice friendly hop off the boards, but Canada controls. It's Eric Brewer with lots of room to move it out. With 26 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Brewer still carrying it in, but his teammates were a few steps ahead of him offside.
That's what I talked earlier about being a little out of sync right now. These players are adjusting to, 1, the big ice service, and 2, just playing with each other. And that takes a little bit of time. Think about this. If you put a team together with just a couple of practices and step in and play the Stanley Cup Finals, which lasts about 2 weeks, it would be a very difficult task. And not to compare the Stanley Cup Finals and the competition against any of these earlier teams, but when it gets going, it's very difficult for Canada and some of the other hockey clubs that use a lot of North American National Hockey League players, I should say, to be the best prepared.
Penalty is over, team's back at even strength. The devil's advocates out there, Greener, will say, well, you know, these players are NHL, they're the best in the world. And there's really only one NHLer in this Austrian lineup, and he's in goal.
Well, there's no question about that. But I also talked earlier in the first period about the adrenaline levels. In order to play at this high of a level, you have to have the adrenaline rolling. And for the Austrians, you know that it'll be at peak right now coming into this game. I can't say that about the Canadians. For as much as coaching staffs can work with them to try to motivate them, to get them ready for the very first puck drop, you got to feel it. And for the Canadians, you just don't feel it when you're playing against the Austrians.
Well, they better start feeling it because we're past the midway mark of the hockey game and they still trail 2-0. Dancing in there as Kaspitz trying to move around Scott Niedermayer. Niedermayer turned him around and Canada scoops it up. Here's Briere. Daniel Briere with a strong tournament a year ago. Into the middle, here's Baumeister, shoots right on. Davis saw it all the way. Came out, faced him, stopped it, and it remains 2-0.
When you lead an active physical life, you need food energy. Fuel up with Vector from Kellogg's. Its delicious crunchy flakes, granola clusters, and milk are a complete meal, with protein to help build and repair body tissue like muscles, carbs to supply energy to working muscles, and over 20 vitamins and minerals. Plus, there's Vector energy bars in 3 great flavors for your sports nutrition needs. Try great tasting Vector meal replacement and Vector energy bars in stores now. Brand power, helping you buy better.
Down the dial, Benjamin McKenzie stars in a new episode of The OC tomorrow at 9, 8 Central on CTV. Back to Prague and the Worlds on TSN.
Here's C, the shots on goal briefly, 16-11. favor of Austria.
And that's hard to believe. I know, folks. And again, I'll go back to what Team Canada's philosophy is about. And one of the main points out of their 5 points would be that of shot mentality, as they call it. In simple layman terms, just shoot the puck, and shoot the puck as much as you possibly can out there. Well, that's what Canada has got to do a little bit more.
Morrow in the far corner trying to dance away from Polk. He'll leave it for Morrison. Brendan Morrison shakes loose to Brewer. Snapshot right on. Divas saw that. There's Murray, and he just missed on the far side. Glenn Murray coming close again. He's had a couple of great chances in this hockey game, but he's been unable to bury any. He just arrived here yesterday as well. Maybe feeling it a little bit. Steos tries to center the puck. Polk breaks that play up. It remains in the near corner here until Lucas flips it off the netting, and a faceoff will come up in the Austrian zone.
And you may have hit it right on the nail there with Glenn Murray. Oftentimes with jet lag, it's worse your second day than it is as soon as you get here. But Glenn Murray has got to find a way to bury those. He has had, as you pointed out, 2 excellent opportunities. One of them on the power play in the first period where I thought he had Reinhard Divas stone cold. Divas has played extremely well.
Hey, Murray is a sniper too. Usually doesn't miss those opportunities. 3 straight 30-goal seasons. Now here's Horkov with some room to move. Tries to center it, but Ulrich broke the play up. Horkov being watched by Martin Ulrich. And Horkov wins the battle. Another returnee from the 2003 gold medal team right in front for Niedermeyer. Spins away from a check and has to get away from the referee as well. That one's sent in on goal through a crowd as Canada's just trying to obstruct Divas' view now and get one any way they can.
That's what Canada's got to do more. They've got to use the points just like they did there, David, and get that traffic in front of Divas.
They want to break the ice. Not let this go any further. As Divas has made some saves in this hockey game, no question about that. Here's Horkov again. Morris following up with him. He goes into the corner. Ryan Smith tries to move out in front. Horkov digging for it, so is Niedermeyer. Morris tries to keep it in and does, gets it to Niedermeyer. Near side, here's Rob Niedermeyer. Horkov to Niedermeyer, takes a shot, it deflects to the far side. Baumeister has to avoid a broken stick out there. It comes in behind the net, Horkov's waiting for it. Niedermeyer all alone, what a stop by Divas. Net is off its mooring. What a stop by Divas on Niedermeyer, who had almost too much time to think about it. And now tempers flaring as the Canadians perhaps getting a little frustrated. And look out, you almost never see fights in international play, but Horkov, I don't know if you can call this a fight, he's squared off there with Daniel Welser. And that won't be much.
Well, usually the officials end up calling them double minors because if they call them fighting majors, then they've got to leave the game. But Canada might be getting a little frustrated, and for good reason. I mean, good reason when it comes to not being able to score. But you can't take that frustration out on the opposition by going to the penalty box for it. Reinhard Divas is in a zone right now. And I'll go back to my point of a few moments ago. He's got players definitely that can shoot the puck. Morris and Steos have both got hard shots. And when it comes to Morris, this guy also has got great skating ability. So we talk about the speed in the back end. Canada has got that in this tournament.
Here they come to center ice. They were looking for Murray on the fly. Play is broken up, sent around the boards. Morris tries to keep it in, and it's cleared by Austria. Normally you'd see Niedermeyer out on the point here with Morris, but of course he's in the box.
One thing that Canada has experienced already against these Austrians, and I know Mike Babcock and Tom Rennie would have talked to the team about it, is the fact that the Austrians have got good quickness. They're good skaters, and as a result of your good skaters with good speed, and then when it comes to killing penalties, you can get to that puck quickly. So Canada have got to make sure that they've got the same amount of speed up against the Austrians right now, and I don't think Canada is using their speed. This is a quick hockey club, much quicker than we're seeing.
Well, here they are trying to set things up. There's Brendan Morrison in the far corner, back to the line for Steve Steos. Back to Morrison, down low, in front, trying to find Morrow, but the pass didn't reach him. Morrison now to Stales, has Morris with him along the other point. Here's Morrison. Back to Stales, winds up, fires a shot. A weak one that Davis saw. It bounces out in front. And while Davis regains his footing, the Austrians buy him just enough time. Morrow to Stales. Morrison has taken his spot on the far point as they're digging away for it. Martin Ulrich is giving him all he can handle. Now centering pass in front, looking for Morris, and that was broken up by the diving defenseman, Tratnik. Now Tratnik gets away with a cross check in front. Morris lets the referee hear about that. Stales keeps it in. Morrison now on the near side. Here's Morrow. Back to Stales. Pulls the shot back, goes far side, looking for Murray. Under 30 seconds to go in the power play. Glenn Murray moves in. That pass was deflected into the inboards. Stales now tries to center it. It rolls towards the goal. Rebound, and the shot was deflected before it reached Davis. And it's whistled down as the Austrians are blocking a lot of rubber in front of their goaltender.
That puck ended up behind the net, but the referee lost sight of it. Canada's arguing that right now, but it won't do them much good. Great opportunity once again by Murray with traffic in front. That's the key for Canada, getting traffic in front of Reinhard Davis. But it won't hurt if they continue to, well, I shouldn't say continue, if they went back to the points a little bit more than they're doing.
Really seems as though the Austrian penalty killers are not afraid right now to challenge those point men.
Well, they're not afraid to challenge the point man, but at the same time, once Canada starts parking two bodies right in front, they tend to collapse. They've got good speed to go out and challenge. But if Canada end up putting that puck back to the point a little bit more, you will see tremendous amount of traffic in front, which will cause that screen on Reinhard Davis. Coaches will say for Canada, you get one, you'll get two. And right now, they're just trying to break the bubble on Reinhard Davis.
Some kind of confusion over at the Austrian bench, and you see Oliver Setzinger headed to the box there as he thought one of his penalties were over as he joins the crowd in there. It still remains a 5-on-4 for 12 seconds. Scrum off the face-off. Here's Briere with DuPont in front. He goes back to the line. Stales steps up. Steve Stales moving in. Now low to Briere, in behind the goal, tries to center it. Another penalty coming up as Stales was tripped up right in front of the goal.
Stales talked to the Austrian player about it, but he made the smart move. He just skated away and went to the bench so that Canada can enjoy the advantage of being on the power play. See what I was talking about, though, David, is that there were 4 Austrian players, though, that were all down in front because that's where the puck was. If Canada, in that situation, would just throw that puck back to the point, they would find as many as 7 or 8 players in front of Reinhard Davis. The Austrians are being very aggressive at pursuing the puck down low. And they know also if they give Davis lots of net protection, that'll help their cause.
Now it's another power play opportunity, essentially 2 back-to-back power plays, as this penalty came just as the other one had expired. Roberto Luongo, seeing Setzinger come in unchallenged, comes out of his net to play the puck. The Austrian sends it back. Here's Heatley at center ice. Danny Heatley over the line, leaves it for Smith, who chops at it, sends it deep. Davis out of his goal, sends it around the boards. Knocked out of the air by Smith. Ryan Smith into the far corner there, and it comes back to the line for Jay Bouwmeester. Had it hop off his stick, and they'll have to reset. Briere gathers it on his blade, leaves it for a teammate, Bergeron, but it was offside at the line with 1:17 to go in what is now a pretty important power play. I've said that a couple of times.
Well, Canada need 1 in this period. To go into the dressing room down by a goal, they will get lots of, well, momentum off of that. But to go down by 2 into the intermission, that would be very difficult for them.
Brewer gets it to Horkoff along the far boards. He chips it off the boards. Here's a chance for Niedermeyer. He was waiting for the pass, didn't get there. Horkoff will reset. Under a minute to go now, the man advantage. There's Brewer. He's got Niedermeyer near side. Instead, he goes over to the far boards. for Horkoff. Into the middle looking for Niedermeyer, and that play was broken up. Austria starts out with it. This is Philip Lucas dancing in, snaps a shot that deflects into the far corner. Horkoff is the first man there, and he'll leave it for Scott Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer calmly carries it up the ice, gains the zone, and then flips it in for his brother Rob. Matt Cook just missed the bounce off the boards. Austria gathers it up, and they will clear it to center ice. Almost broke away. Called now with Tratnik. Tratnik takes a shot, a weak one that's steered aside by Luongo. Now a chance back in the line. Ulrich fires through a crowd, and it deflects into the near side. Short-handed pressure there by Austria, and the crowd is cheering them every step of the way. Stevens out of his net to handle it. And that play is whistled down as it went up and into the netting.
Stevens is going to argue that the faceoff should come outside the blue. You know, when I made that statement, I know a lot of people will be saying, come on, Greener, give me a break. I mean, down by a couple of goals and you're going into the third period. I mean, that's a big deal against the Austrians. You can't come back. Look, Canada's got lots of firepower and lots of capabilities of scoring goals. But this isn't just a goaltender that plays in the Division I in Austria. This is a bona fide National Hockey League goaltender. And when you get a goaltender like this that's in that type of a zone, then it's going to be very difficult to put 3 pucks by him right now. So my point being is that plain and simple that Canada has kind of got to get things going and real quickly because they're starting to run out of time against a hot goaltender.
However, when you look at that number that was just flashed on the screen there, if Canada had known that they would have received 7 power plays before the end of the second period, they would have liked their chances going into the third. But right now they trail by 2. There's a opportunity for Morrison. He couldn't connect on the one-timer on the pass from behind the net, and it goes all the way down the ice. Here's Nick Schultz. Schultz waits for things to set up in front of him. It rolls off the stick of Morrison. Morrow gives it back to Morrison. Brendan Morrison one-on-one trying to make a move around the man Lucas. And he's steered aside, and the Austrians come out to center ice now. Oliver Setzinger is rubbed out by Willie Mitchell. Long pass up the center ice for Justin Williams. Williams over the line, has Bergeron with him, and Stales headed for the front of the net. Bergeron circles back. He'll leave it for Williams of the Carolina Hurricanes. Gets it to Bergeron. He steers it aside. Friesen's in there on the forecheck as well. Good forecheck pressure, but no possession time, and here comes Welser. Welser's over the line, trying to move around Stales, who angled him off well. Setzinger now, being watched by Brewer, and Friesen gets it back to the line, kept in by Andre Lakos, who has one of the goals for Austria. Here's a chance for Friesen, trying to break away, and now the rebound gets to Bergeron. Bergeron couldn't get it on his backhander. Williams follows up on the play. Friesen's in front. There it is in the corner for Bergeron. Centers the puck, and Friesen couldn't find it on his stick. Final minute of the second period here is this line of Williams and Bergeron, and Friesen applying some pressure. One of Canada's best shifts at even strength in a while.
Thomas Koch did a great job of back-checking there against Bergeron. Showed great speed at coming up and picking up his man.
Matthias Tratnik now back the other way, spins it back into the Canadian zone, far side now for Thomas Vanek, who has the other Austrian goal here in the second period. Over the blue line they come. It's at the feet. Heatley digging for it. Cook's in there as well, but guess who's got it again? Ryan.
Now let's
back to live play with just 15 seconds to go in the second period. And the story right now is Davis, as he's made some great saves against this powerful Canadian lineup here, the defending champions. Up and off the netting just as time expires in the second period, and Canada trails by 2 through 40 minutes against the team they have never, ever lost to.
Well, Canada have got to go back in the dressing room right now and get their composure. They have to come out at the start of the third period and play as a team. Stick with the system. Everybody get in there and aggressively forecheck when you're responsible for doing that. And making sure that you have got that third man high and shoot the puck, get traffic in front. Simple as that.
Let's see what the other guy has to say about it. Dave Reed, who's with Rod Black.
Well, Dave Reed, who getting his first experience of World Championships. Last year, we sat here at this table talking about Denmark. It was a crossover game later in the tournament. Canada against a non-hockey powerhouse. Trailed 2-1 going into the third, eventually got a tie. This would be akin to Canada beating Austria in soccer.
Well, if this score holds up, this is the last game I'm doing. Obviously, bad luck for Canada to do this, but Austria's just got it going. They're killing the penalties great. They're doing a fantastic job on the forecheck, but it's what we're looking at. Canada is the way we wanted to start it. Canada had a fantastic job early in the game with their forecheck. And you're going to see Steve Staios jumping into the play. This is what Canada has to continue to do. That they're trying, but they're not accomplishing much. The defense have to activate and get in the play. Staios jumping up in the play. It just creates confusion in the defensive zone. Canada's doing a great job on the forecheck. This isn't the first shift of the game. Once again, there's Steve Staios jumping up in the play, but you've got Niedermayer covering. This is what Canada got away from after about 5 minutes into the game. They showed spurts of this in the second period. Staios ends up getting a shot on net out of all this, but you've got to use all 5 men in the play. This one, Eric Brewer stepping up into the play. Exactly the same thing, creating confusion. Players rolling out to the net, defensemen coming in. Unfortunately for Canada, the pop pops over Brewer's stick, and they lose a good forecheck. What they had going. This is Steve Staios again. I don't know if it's something they got going in Edmonton, but here's Steve Staios. There's 4 men below the top of the circle, and it seems to be the Edmonton D doing all the jumping in. Everybody's got to get up on the play and create the offense. If they don't do this, they're not going to get the opportunities they're getting. They showed spurts of it. Now and then the D would jump up, but they've got to do it on a consistent basis. They've got to continue getting pucks to the net. And they did a decent job of that, but not much you can do when the goaltender's stopping them all. They had about 3 point-blank shots in front of Davis, but they just can't get it past him. Reinhard Davis doing a great job. 100 minutes now of shutout hockey at the World Championships for the Austrian puck stopper of the St. Louis Blues. Giving the Blues to Team Canada right now. 2-0 Austria heading to the third.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Kids don't always make the best choices. But at McDonald's, every choice is good. They can choose their favorite Happy Meal food and a drink like milk or juice. Try new apple slices with caramel dip. McDonald's.
Other action, Daniel Alfredsson, who wasn't supposed to play for Team Sweden for the first couple of games, is playing. He has scored for Sweden 4-1. The Ottawa Senators star makes it over Japan. They're in the second intermission. No upset happening there. Russia beating Denmark 6-2. No upset there. Switzerland over France, but maybe an upset here. Throughout the World Championships during the intermission, we're going to go over something that is a positive Canadian moment, although Team Canada has played terrible so far in this game. We're going to call it Reed and White. Kind of red and white. Very, very witty.
Well, one of the positive moments for Canada in the second period was a combination of 2 players who actually know each other pretty well from last season's World Championships, and that's Daniel Briere and Danny Heatley. And you heard Gary Green talking about how the team isn't in sync. Well, these 2 guys seem to be in pretty good sync. There's Heatley feeding Briere, and this is where you can tell when players are comfortable with each other. Nice little drop pass from Briere to Danny Heatley creates a scoring opportunity. These guys have been in on some of the scoring, or not some of the scoring, some of the opportunities in today's game. But last season in 9 games, here are their stats. They combined for a +17. And when you put 2 players together who've got some familiarity with each other, in a tournament like this where everybody's just thrown together quickly, you expect players, in this case, to start picking up on the offense. And you see a few opportunities that they've created working together in this game. It'll be interesting to see if these 2 players can create some goals rather than just scoring chance in the third period. But I think if this combination is kept together, J.P. Dumont was also put on the line Daniel Briere is comfortable with him because he's an ex-Sabre. So those three players created some offense, just not goals.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. A loss, however, by Canada would not be disastrous in the pool. They still likely, with wins in the next couple of games, would cross over. But to lose to Austria, and right now not wanting to panic into the third period, I think a lot of people will look at that score right now and say, what the heck is going on?
Well, there's still 20 minutes to play, and I know everybody's saying what the heck's going on. I wouldn't want to be in that locker room, and I don't think Mike Babcock is going to come in and rant and rave as if he was with his old team, his team, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. But he's got to let the guys know that they're not playing with any desperation trying to win this game. When they've got opportunities, they've got to start burying them. You did see late in the second period some frustration being shown, pushing and shoving, and a couple of scrums with Horcroft and Niedermeyer down in front of the net. But they've got to find a way to get the puck past Evis, and it's something that they know how to do, but it's just a matter of getting the job done in the third period.
Give a lot of credit to Austria, though. They're doing it with goaltending. Thomas Vanek gets the second goal for Austria in the second period. And in Prague, this team could go 2-0. They lead 2-0, heading to the third at the Worlds.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Here's Stewart getting some room, fed one onto Chichu, he scores!
Oh, the Chichu train. What a beauty that might have been the goal of the playoffs yesterday.
That's a practice play. Not many players can do it in the speed of the game.
Sharks and Avalanche tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Hockey lives here on TSN. The NHL playoffs continue. And there's the second period summary. One goal, Thomas Vanek. Who would have thought that Austria would be leading Canada 2-0 heading to the third? A lot of work to do for Team Canada. And are you a minor hockey coach and looking for some great drills and tips for your team? Go to hockeycanada.ca. Sign up for the Coaches Club, an interactive wealth of information and a must-have for all coaches. Team Canada coaches right now trying to devise a plan to beat Reinhard Davis in Austria. Sign up for www.hockeycanada.ca.
Hey everybody, Corey Warren back here in the Sports Center newsroom. We're just minutes away from the puck drop in Tampa. The Canadians and Lightning meeting up with Tampa leading the best-of-7 series 1-0. Now, the Lightning took game one by a 4-0 score. Nikolai Habibulin has a .66 goals against average and a .975 save percentage in the playoffs. Martin St. Louis had 3 assists in that victory. The Maple Leafs will be without Joe Nieuwendyk for game 2 of their series with the Flyers tonight. He's out with an undisclosed upper body injury. Matt Sundin has missed 4 games with an undisclosed lower body injury. He is listed as a game-time decision. And just a reminder, the NHL playoffs return to the NHL on TSN Monday. It's the Sharks and Avalanche Game 3 in high definition. Be sure to tune into SportsCenter before and after the game at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. It all begins as playoff hockey lives here. One baseball score to tell you about right now. It is Toronto leading Baltimore 9-3 in the 8th. More hockey on the way.
Reinhard Davis, 20 minutes away from more shutout hockey and what would be Austria's miracle on ice. Can they do it? Let's go back to Prague.
Thanks, Rod. The last time these two teams met at the World Championship was 1998 in Zurich. Canada won that game 5-1. They've met 17 times. That's all games included. And Canada has never lost. 15 wins and 2 ties. The 2 ties came in exhibition games in 1990 and 1996. So when the game really mattered, they've never lost. And as we mentioned earlier, in World Championship play, they're 9-0, but here they are trailing by 2 as we begin the third period.
Well, I think you'll be able to tell very early in this third period as to whether or not Canada is going to be able to mount a comeback. And I don't mean just by scoring a goal, but by the way that they play. You heard Dave Reed talk about activating the defense, and defense have definitely got to do that here in order to catch up again. At the same time, you've got to make sure, without any red line, that you keep that third man high. If you get 3 forwards caught down deep and defenseman pinching, you might be in trouble.
Here comes Vanek dancing in there. Vanek is right in, and Colt Couldn't find the loose puck in front. Andre Lakos keeps the pressure on, steers it in front. They try to find Colt in the slot, and it was broken up. Thomas Vanek was allowed to walk right in. He's got 1 goal in this game. The 19-year-old property of the Buffalo Sabres. There's a turnover onto the stick of Brendan Morrow, but he's by himself. Colt rubs him into the end boards, and Andre Lakos takes over from there. Out it comes to center ice. At his own blue line now is Steve Stales. Tries to headman the puck ahead to Horkoff. Horkoff loses control. Now he gets it back into the middle now for Rob Niedermeyer with Ryan Smith. Niedermeyer crashing in there, using his size to gain the zone. Puts it near side, nobody's home. Bouwmeester steps up in the play, and now he's going to have to hustle back. Here comes Mark Zooks. Zooks being watched by Horkoff, back in defensive mode here. Zooks still with the puck, centers it. It goes off the side of the net and into the near boards. Philip Lucas steers it in deep. Marcus Paintner is in there, wearing number 34 for Austria. Here's Philip Lucas back to the line for Polk, and his one-timer was poked back out into the neutral zone. Here's Philippe Lakos. His dump in goes off the netting. A face-off coming outside the Canadian blue line.
Well, I'll take my hat off right now early in this third period to the Austrians for a lot of reasons, but also for the fact that they're not laying back and defending this 2-goal lead. They had 2 men in there deep on the forecheck against Canada. And from their vantage point, I think that's a good strategy. Stay in on top of the Canadians and don't lay back in the neutral zone. And just trap, and give Canada the free opportunity to walk out of their own end.
The other game going on right now is about 3 hours away in Ostrava. That's Sweden taking on Japan. The Swedes are the defending silver medalists. And they gave up the first goal as well to Japan. The difference being is that Sweden has scored the next 4. They're up 4-1. Penalty call coming up. This one's going against Austria, so Team Canada will get their 8th power play of the hockey game. They are 0 for 7.
Well, there you see it, and you see the reason why Canada is about to go on the power play. Reinhard Davis was quick to get out of the way, too. Smart move on his part. Just as that penalty, or just prior to that penalty happening, actually, Daniel Welser was way up at Canada's blue line practically, looking for that long pass. The Austrians are looking to be aggressive. We'll see how aggressive they are on the penalty kill. Throughout this game, they have killed penalties extremely well. Of course, your best penalty killer is always your goaltender.
Here's Glenn Murray crashing in there, centers the puck looking for Morrow. It was too high for him to handle, and Reinhard Davis covers up. Good surge there shown by the veteran Murray.
Murray tried to jump in. He could have got there maybe just a little step further, but he was being tugged from behind, not enough to take a penalty on the Austrians' part. And Glenn Murray might have got that extra little step that would have allowed him a better scoring chance.
Murray had 11 power play goals this season for the Boston Bruins, 11 of his 32. Third of his goals came with a man advantage. He remains out there. They win the face-off again, back to Morrow. Here's Morrison along the far boards, back to Derek Morris. Morris near sides of Brewer. Eric Brewer flips it towards the goal, deflected. Murray can't reach it, and Morrow flicks it high and over the net and into the netting.
Brendan Morrow had that top corner available to him, and that puck went high, all right, way high. Canada haven't had an awful lot of luck either down close. They've had a lot of shots blocked that never even reached Reinhard Davis, and there you see that opportunity that puck just went sky high.
Reinhard Davis yet to allow a goal here at the World Championship. Shutout yesterday against France, and a shutout through 2 and a little bit against Team Canada. 1:19 to go on the power play. The M&M line remains out there for the Canadians. Here's Brewer. Waiting for something to open up into the middle for Morris. Winds up, fires a blast. That's blocked in front. Morrison chases after the loose puck. Into the corner he goes, watched by Polk. It banks off the boards, over to Morris. Winds up again, takes the shot. That's stopped by Davis. Puck is loose in the slot, and Morrow can't control it. as he was trying to turn and get a shot away.
Morrow meant to put it back to his point. Instead, he gave it right to Dieter Colt. But Canada did get some good shots away from the point.
Fresh power play unit out there for Team Canada, led by Briere and Smith. JP Dumont right in front. One shot, save Davis. Dumont's got it again. Back to the line it comes for Heatley. Danny Heatley to Daniel Briere. Briere now fakes the shot, goes down low. Smith's in front. Dumont can't feather the pass out there. In behind the goal it comes to Briere. He tries to center it. It's at the side of the net. The referee lost sight of it. And the face-off will come to the right of the Austrian goal.
Reinhard Davis once again arguing that it should go outside, but the referee was standing right there, and he blew the whistle when he saw that that puck was right on the side of the net. Ryan Smith putting that puck right out in front. Ryan Smith had two Austrian players right on top of them, but was still able to control the puck.
Austria tries to control off this draw, and they do. And here comes Thomas Koch, one-on-one, fires a long, hard shot right in on net. Luongo stopped it. And with 8 seconds to go in their 8th power play, it looks like Canada's going to come up dry again here.
Thomas Koch has got a good shot. We've seen that on a couple of occasions in tonight's game. He let go with that good hard drive. Roberto Luongo had no problem stopping it because he could see it.
Thomas Koch can score. He was the 3rd leading scorer in the Austrian League with 58 points in 55 games. Into the middle, they were looking for Horkoff. Again, the Austrians break that up. They're reading a lot of those plays extremely well. Not letting Canada get the passing game going in their end. And with the offside call, we'll take another break in Prague.
Get your skis shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move you when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. Sweet. Juicy fruit red, sweet.
The crowd here sensing that Canada is in a little bit of trouble. Over 15 minutes to go in this 3rd period of play, and with the Austrians with a 2-goal lead, Canadians have got to get back to playing good disciplined Canadian hockey. Now that they are even strength, they've got to find a way to get that puck in deep and get control of it. Good skating legs right now are needed by Canada. They definitely possess them.
Whether they can find them, a couple of the players who arrived late, 2 of them today, 4 of them yesterday, that may be a big factor right now in the late stages of this game. As Austria dumps it in deep, forcing Niedermeyer to set up shop.
But the majority of this hockey club have been over here for over a week. They were training in Budapest, Hungary, and so they're well adjusted to the time zone, so they've got to take the onus in this 3rd period.
Horkoff now in behind the net. Friesen's with him. 3 Canadians in beyond the goal line. Centering pass. Niedermeyer hits the post, and it's clear just in time. Scramble at the near side of the Austrian goal. Penalty coming up here. This one's going to go against Canada. Friesen barges in there. And it's going to be Austria going on the power play to try to add to their 2-goal lead here.
Now Friesen's going to penalty box. Meanwhile, Scott Niedermeyer read the play perfectly, and what a great scoring opportunity on his part. Friesen, though, is guilty for that right there. Just a little bit of a tug. Friesen didn't have his stick. He got more than he bargained for. Friesen ends up with a holding penalty. Niedermeyer came rushing in from the point, and that puck came so close to going in. But as the old saying goes, is that when you are playing well, those goalposts and the crossbar are all part of your equipment. And for Dieter Reinhard Davis right now, they definitely are.
And how about that? A game of inches. Canada hits the post, and seconds later, Friesen takes the penalty. Right now, though, here they come short-handed. There's a hard shot that Davis had to be careful with there, but he stops it. Face-off coming up in the Austrian zone.
You saw Steos. He was heading right to the net. In fact, he took the net right off of its moorings. Getting something off of the skate blade because he kind of blew a tire there at the same time.
The Edmonton Oilers factor Gary, you talk about it an awful lot. 4 more Oilers this year. Since 1977, 31 Oilers have represented Team Canada at the Worlds, more than any other NHL team.
The Oilers have certainly been generous to Team Canada, but they're tired of being generous. They want to play in the playoffs.
A little deeper, yeah. Round the boards it comes as Austria tries to set up on this power play. Thomas Vanek gets it near side to Robert Lucas. Into the corner now it goes. Willie Mitchell ties up his man. Lucas keeps it in. Here's Vanek now. He's hounded near the blue line, but Vanek manages to keep it in with 2 Canadians out of the zone. Right in front. No, they hit the post. They got lucky there. Cook gets it into the middle for Williams as 2 Canadian players were trying to go for the short-handed rush. Now Vanek, short side, sharp angle, stopped by Luongo. Horkoff overskated it just for a moment, gets it to Williams, who sends it down the ice.
It was definitely a close call on Canada. When it went off the post, it went right across the goal line at the same time, same instant, and it was so close to it going in.
The way this game's gone, that really would have been a big hill to climb for Team Canada. Zooks trying to move his way in front. Back to the line now for Martin Ulrich, near side there for Philip Lucas, down low. One-time pass to Zooks, and his shot looking for the high far corner, missed by a whole bunch.
Zook shouldn't have been able to shoot from that position, though. He was in a good scoring position.
Here's Zooks still with the puck, rolling off checks left and right. Zooks with it, creating some room for himself. Niedermeyer watching him along with Bouwmeester. Gunter Lugauer now at the point, gets it to Ulrich. Martin Ulrich winds up, fires through a crowd, it deflects wide and into the far corner for Lucas. This is Marcus Peitner now. He can't control it. Penalty is over. Team's back at even strength. Some anxious moments there for Team Canada, but they've dodged a bullet, and out they come. On the move is Friesen, was looking for the breakaway pass, and it didn't get through. Those passing lanes have just not been available for Team Canada today. Austria's clogging them up. There's a move at the line. It comes near side for Andre Lakos. He steers one towards the goal. Welser's right there banging away, and Luongo has got
it. There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. Thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Bauer Nike Hockey supports the development programs of Hockey Canada for players, coaches, and officials, helping all hockey participants in Canada realize their dreams. Bauer Nike Hockey, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
over on the Austria bench. Herbert Pope, the head coach, watches as his team is on the verge of a huge upset here in the early stages of this World Hockey Championship. It comes back to the line there, flipped in by Lakos. Philippe Lakos, puck is loose, they're still banging away. Luongo had to cover that short side. Here's Setzinger now. Into the middle, one-timer, and had that been executed, that was in for sure, but Gunter Lugauer misfired on a great pass. Otherwise, it could have been 3-0.
Listen, Reinhard Davis has played an exceptional game today, but it's time to give some credit to the Austrian players as well, because this has been a good skating hockey club. Their passing has been exceptional throughout the game, and their strategy has been extremely good. I mean, this is a well-coached hockey club. They're playing a system, and to the T. Even when it comes to their power play, they move the puck around extremely well. Their defense move in at the appropriate times. I mean, this has been a good Austrian hockey team out here. We've got to give them a little bit more credit than just Reinhard Davis. Davis, without question, has been in a zone.
Through 2 periods, Canada had only managed 11 shots on him. He's made some saves. Austria with more pressure here. 8 minutes gone in the 3rd period. As the pressure builds over on the Canadian bench for Mike Babcock. Back to the line is Lucas. That's Chris Haran now, steering it deep. Kaspik's in there. He loses control, and Morrow will start out with it. Brendan Morrow to center ice into the middle. Murray returns the favor. Morrow chases after it. Brendan Morrow now leaves it. They go back to the point. Murray saw that nobody was there, but the pass was already gone. Here's Mitchell now, waiting for the mates to complete the change over on the bench. Briere makes one move. He's to center ice, gets it ahead to Danny Heatley. Heatley's in, and that shot attempt was deflected into the corner. Heatley's now in on after it against Ulrich. Around the boards it comes, and they can't keep it in. As Mitchell was just one step late. Now he's turned it over to Vanek. Thomas Vanek with a weak wrist shot. Luongo saw that and stopped it with 9:08 gone in the third period.
I've said this over the last few years especially because the caliber of hockey, the lesser hockey nations, has definitely improved and improved immensely. You see some of the puck possession by the Austrians right now. But when Canada doesn't play with fear and a sense of urgency out there, then they definitely level off the pool of lesser hockey nations without any question. Canada have to play with that fear, it seems, to be able to play their best.
Smith was looking for Horkoff. Again, they can't complete the passing play, and Austria will just send it in there. In after it is Lucas. Philip Lucas leaves it for Zooks. Zooks fires a shot well wide of the mark. It bounces off the end boards, where Philip Lakos can't get it. It comes out to center ice for Unter Lugauer. Flipped ahead and into the Team Canada zone. Here's Smith. Ryan Smith over the line. He dumps it in. Around the boards it goes where Horkoff is waiting for it. Niedermayer's in there as well. Smith is in behind the goal. Penalty coming up. This one's going to go against Canada. And not what they needed here with 10 minutes gone in the third. It's another power play for Austria.
That was a bad penalty by Rob Niedermayer. He hooked his man from a good couple of steps from behind. Stick was up high, and as a result, Canada are going to have to find a way to kill this off. 10 minutes left in this hockey game. It's going to be very, very difficult for Canada to even contemplate putting 3 pucks by Reinhard Dietz, especially when you consider they've got to spend the next couple of minutes trying to kill this Austrian power play off.
After this game for Team Canada, they will play France on Tuesday, noon local time. It's a weird time for these players to be playing.
And they'll face another team who will be out to play the game of their lives.
Austria setting up on the power play. Welser trying to feather one into the slot. That was broken up by Brewer, who's all over Welser there. Brewer tries to chip it away from him, and now Canada clears it down the ice. Well, Austria, Switzerland, and France knew they were going to play Canada here in the opening round as Cook barges in, short-handed, scores! Matt Cook gets Canada on the board. It's 2-1. And finally, they've beaten Reinhard Dietz.
You know, when Canada took that penalty, and you see this great shot by Cook that ended up right up in the top corner. I think Reinhard Dietz ended up getting a little piece of it, but it went right up in the top corner of both sides. I was just about to say, this is when Canada could have used a player like they had last year, Chris Draper, who was great killing penalties, but could also go out and get you a short-handed goal. But instead, it's Matt Cook that ends up giving Canada a really good opportunity now.
Matt Cook, who had that huge performance in Game 7 against the Calgary Flames, scoring those 2 goals, including the game tire late before they lost in OT, gets Canada on the board, but they remain in penalty kill mode here with just under a minute to go on the penalty to Rob Niedermayer.
And Luongo knows now for sure he's got to close the door. He's played a great game already, but he's got to close the door here.
Far side, there's Horkoff in against Dieter Kultz. And Matthias Tratnik, and Canada clears. Here comes Horkoff with Brewer charging in there after it. Horkoff centers the puck. Brewer almost had it for a moment. Now he's got it. Eric Brewer back at the line. Look at the roll. Brewer winds up, shoots, and it's blocked right in front. As they went looking for their second short-handed goal here. Everybody just backed away from Brewer and allowed him to wind up. Now it's Cook. Still in there. Austria's in big trouble now. There's a shot. Big save by Davis. Scott Niedermayer with that great chance there as Canada looking dangerous for the first time in a while. And they're doing this all short-handed. Now Niedermayer steps out of the box. Team's back at even strength for about another 8 minutes to go here in a one-goal hockey game.
Talked about Canada having to play with a sense of urgency. Now they're playing with that fear.
Briere along the near boards, lets it roll to the blue line where it's kept in and sent back into the near corner. Round the boards it goes. Mark Zooks is met by Heatley. Zooks kicks it to the line. There's the shot through a crowd, knocked down. Scooped up there by Briere. Outlet pass to J.P. Dumont. He drops it off for Heatley. Here's Heatley shooting through a crowd, and that's into the shins of the Austrian defender, Thomas Pope. As the Austrians are going to have to hang on here because it looks like Canada has come alive after that short-hander by Cook.
I'll tell you, that Thomas Polk is a heck of a hockey player. Got an opportunity to see him a little bit with the New York Rangers this year, but he's got some great offensive skills. He used to be a forward at college, and they ended up making him a defenseman.
There's a lot of poise rushing the puck, just 22 years old. Another good young player coming out of Austria along with Thomas Vanek. Dumped in there, Morrison in after it. Morrow couldn't get it, comes to the line, flipped towards the goal, bouncing around. Murray's robbed again. How many times is he going to miss the mark? Oh, Murray has been in cold and had a couple of great opportunities, but Davis has had his number. Still 2-1. Walking out with it is Derek Morris to center ice. Dumps it in. Andre Lakos now, who opened the scoring way back in the first period. Hits it to Martin Ulrich. He chips it off the boards, gets it in deep. Chris Harand is in there first for Austria. This is Dieter Kalt now, the captain, playing in his 11th World Championship. Harand along the far boards against Niedermayer, who has to be careful with the use of that stick. Kalt now being wrapped up by the Canadian defender. That's Horkoff in behind the goal. It's centered out in front and taken away by Smith. Here they come, three along the blue line, feathered back into the middle for Smith, just out of his reach. Niedermayer pinned along the boards momentarily, Smith in to help out. He's knocked off his feet. Niedermayer takes a poke at it. Ryan Smith comes up with it, tries to move in front. It's laying there. Another shot is blocked in front as there's all kinds of traffic in front of Davis now. Now here's a chance for Niedermayer. Shot right on, and Davis makes the stop. And it remains 2-1 Austria.
Got plans? Big or small? Bring them to any one of more than 400 home building center locations. We help turn plans into jobs well done. Home Building Center, we've got your lumber and everything else you need.
The game story brought to you by Chevrolet for all life's roads.
Well, it's obvious Reinhard Davis, 18 saves so far. Team Canada 0 for 8 in the power play. Matt Cook has injected some life into Team Canada with that shorthanded goal.
And the big one, down 1 in the third in Prague.
And there's a look at the guy that injected that life in his first World Championship. Matt Cook with a shorthander. Canada controls off the faceoff. Here's a shot on the way through a crowd. Davis can't control it. Puck is still loose. It was in behind the goal, but the referee lost sight, and it was whistled down.
That goal by Matt Cook, by the way, ended up going off of the defenseman's stick. That's why it ended up going as high as it did and caught Reinhard Davis by surprise.
They'll take it. Another shot from a long way out. Rebound was there, and Bomeister, who was crashing the net, couldn't reach it. That one's chipped up and over the glass, out of play.
You think back to the number of opportunities that Glenn Murray has had in tonight's game. I mean, he has had 4 opportunities and has yet to be able to score. He's got to be thinking right now that Reinhard Davis is starting to look an awful lot like Jose Theodore.
Well, Joel Quenneville, the guy who was supposed to be the head coach for Team Canada, knows a little bit more about Davis and might not be so surprised about his performance here against the Canadians. But he's got 5 minutes to go to preserve this victory, which would be huge for the Austrian national team.
For Danny Heatley, who played on last year's gold medal winning team, he, as well as 7 other members of this hockey club, knows that there's really no such thing as an easy game. You remember last year when Canada ended up playing Denmark, also with their game against Germany, that they ended up having to go into overtime against. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in the gold medal game.
Morris fires another shot, then scored! On the rebound, it was Heatley. And they've roared back to tie it here in the late stages of the 3rd period. All square, 2-2.
So it took one of the guys from last year to dig right down and find a way. But again, that shot came from the point. It originated from the point, and as a result, that little bit of a rebound there. And Davis couldn't get his glove on it, not in time. And Danny Heatley just kept poking away, and he saw that that puck was loose. And as a result, was able to get his stick on it and put it in behind Reinhard Davis. Canada ties his hockey game up. And again, talking about a sense of urgency, that's exactly what Canada have been doing in this last 5 minutes. They have been playing with a real sense of fear, a real sense of urgency.
Well, everyone knows the story of what Heatley and the Snyder family has been through this past year. Danny Heatley rejoined the Atlanta Thrashers in January 28th, after recovering from the knee injury that he suffered during that tragic car accident. He is over here. The Atlanta Thrashers did have to make the district attorney aware of him traveling overseas, but that investigation continues. He's free to come over here and continue to do what he does best. And right now, he has scored a big goal for Team Canada as they've rallied to tie this thing. With less than 5 minutes to go, they dump it in again. Meeting along the far boards is Murray. Gets it behind the net to Morrow. Brendan Morrow working his way around the board, cycles it back towards Morrison. He can't reach it, but he doesn't give up on the play. Fighting forward against Andre Lakos. They've got it pinned there. Now it squirts loose. All tries to come out, tries to draw a penalty. That's not going to work. And Tratnik circles back for the Austrians. In behind his own goal is Matthias Tratnik lugging it out. Over the line, now to center ice. Here comes Tratnik. Look at him go. Finally, he's knocked off his feet. Morrow broke his stick, dropped it. Vanek now picks it up, gets it to Tratnik. Matthias Tratnik with a shot right on. And Luongo made a big save right there. Tense moments in Prague.
When you lead an active physical life, you need food energy. Fuel up with Vector from Kellogg's. Its delicious crunchy flakes, granola clusters, and milk are a complete meal, with protein to help build and repair body tissue like muscles, carbs to supply energy to working muscles, and over 20 vitamins and minerals. Plus, there's Vector energy bars in 3 great flavors for your sports nutrition needs. Try great tasting Vector meal replacement and Vector energy bars in stores now. Brand power, helping you buy better.
As you look at the Team Canada bench, it's all business over there. They were probably none too pleased the first 2 periods and the better part of the 3rd here. They managed to come back to tie it. There is no overtime at this stage of the tournament. The tie will go into the books, which would still be a disappointment to the Canadians. Here's Horkoff now, makes one move, tries to leave it for Brewer, and he overskated the puck and it comes out to center ice. Stales now, being watched by Lucas, gets it to Horkoff. He pushed it ahead to Niedermeyer, who's given a hard hit. Now here's Ryan Smith to Rob Niedermeyer, into the middle looking for Brewer. Comes back to the line for Stales. He controls the puck. Ryan Smith fires a shot that's deflected high and over the net. And that face-off is coming outside.
I think that high shot ended up hitting Rob Niedermeyer and then was deflected up over the glass. Rob Niedermeyer getting an opportunity to play with his brother. A lot of people said, what's Rob Niedermeyer, really doing on this hockey club? But Rob Niedermeyer is good defensively. He's a good third-line player that can also play any position at forward at all. He can kill penalties for you. He's a reliable player.
He did take a tough penalty earlier in this 3rd period, but he's been involved very much tonight. Big number 44.
Well, he's got size and he's a good skater.
Speaking of good skaters, there's his brother starting the rush. It rolls into the Austrian zone, round the near boards. They can't keep it in. And skating after it is Daniel Welser. In against Scott Niedermeyer. But icing is the call. With under 3 minutes to go in this opening game for Niedermeyer and Team Canada, defending gold medalists from a year ago in Helsinki, Finland.
Here's where winning a face-off can be key to Canada's opportunities. Daniel Briere has been solid on the face-offs throughout the game.
And there's the goal scorer, the most recent one. Matt Cook shorthanded, and then Heatley moments later to erase the 2-0 deficit. Face-off controlled by Austria. Now they'll just dump it down the ice, and this is coming right back to where it came from.
Philip Lucas just ended up tying up Daniel Briere. Not a bad strategy on his part. Just tie up his stick.
So what does Austria do now? They were aggressive. They weren't sitting back on that lead, but now they're in a position where they'll probably get a lot more conservative, wouldn't you think? Back to the line. Nick Schultz fires a shot. It bounces off the end boards. Straight to Tratnik. Heatley keeps it in there, picks it out of the air, and Colt now will have an opportunity to skate it out. Here's Colt. He's got some help with him, but it was poked away from him.
Well, to answer your question quickly, they'd be satisfied with a point.
There's a one-timer misfired by Heatley, set up by Friesen, but they control it again. Schultz now gets it deep. Round the net it goes. Briere's waiting for it. Here's Daniel Briere. Tries to center it. He does. Heatley can't get a good shot away. And Divas has to clear some lumber right in front of him. Briere at the line alongside Heatley. Comes out to center ice now. It's Zooks. Zooks for Austria. Under 2 minutes to go now. Flipped in behind the Canadian goal. Brewer gets it away from the Austrian forechecker. There's Brendan Morrow. Gets it out, but not for long as Brewer backpedals. Staios is forced back. Comes near side for Brendan Morrow, into the middle for Brendan Morrison. He lost control of that one. And Austria scoops it up at center ice. Over the line is Setzinger, takes a shot, kicked aside by Luongo, and back comes Canada. As things have opened up here now, here's Morrison. Over the line, gets it to Murray. Murray's in, oh, and he just missed the short side. Takes a big hop off the end boards. They manage to keep it in there for the time being. Along the near boards, now controlled by Austria down the ice. It's Welser, but he is offside.
Niedermeyer just went crashing into the end boards. He went heavily into the end boards. That was a great save by Roberto Luongo. He just stuck that right pad out, but Glenn Murray thought that he had Reinhard Divas beat this time. Great play by Murray, moving into the middle of the ice and then going back on Reinhard Divas. Divas was moving to his left. Glenn Murray tried to put that puck back on his stick side.
Canada with 16 shots in this third period, surpassing their total for the first 2 periods, and out shooting Austria 16-6 so far with under a minute to go in the hockey game. Horkoff at center ice makes a move. He's over the line. Horkoff leaves it for Smith. Takes a shot. Rebound. They're banging away at it, and Divas kept it out. Smith chases it into the near corner. There's Tratnik with it on his stick. He'll fire it down the ice. That one is cut off. Again, they were trying to spring a man on the long breakaway play. It was Dieter Colt. 30 seconds to go now. A great chance there for Smith and Niedermeyer.
I guess that answered your question. The Austrians were going for the win. They went for the long bomb.
Horkoff again over the line, leaves it for Smith, pushes it towards the goal. Divas out of his net to handle it, brings it around the boards, where it's kept in momentarily, and now out. Austria will carry it over the line. It goes into the corner, and it looks as though the Austrians